welcome back, everybody. And we have returned back to Anime Talks. And in this episode, we'll be starting a whole different approach with how the delivery of the next few episodes will be laid out. And we will be kicking off with Hunter x Hunter. And by the way, great anime. And of course, I just got done watching it. It was very interesting, very different in the aspect of like I didn't expect to go back and watch something that I want to say its runtime was in the 90s to be really, really, really good. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. It was awesome, and like the original runtime was in the 90s, and of course we do have the 2011 series, which is what still watch, same concept. You get the point. Um, for the most part, we will be going through an arc delivery of how the show panned out, and is just to be able to consolidate all of the events that happened, and it makes it to where you're not having to sit down and listen to too long of a podcast, and you're able to get the gist of what happened, and it's just going to be short form content, um, and make it to where it's easier to follow and gives you something to look forward to for the next episode. So in this episode, we will be covering Hunter x Hunter, the first, not necessarily first season, because we know how arcs pan out and multiple arcs within one season sometimes, but we'll be covering the Hunter exam arc. And let's get straight down to it. So we'll be covering this first arc, and you can already guess the next succeeding arcs will follow episode by episode. So hold tight and we'll get straight to it. So in Hunter x Hunter, we are met with just, of course, like your typical plot of any anime, where we start with one with a protagonist, and we get to the end goal. And for this end goal, we actually have Gon Freecs, which is a young boy who lives on Well Island, who is very, very mysterious. There's a lot about him that, and to foreshadow it, that we will learn about him, of course, throughout the duration of this podcast and the following. But as far as the first arc, Gon is just this young kid who's ready to be a hunter. And as the story goes, hunters are professionals who become hunters for like different reasons, to either become famous, just for the hunt, just to be able to target people and take them down, and for a multitude of different reasons of why somebody would want to be a hunter. But hunters actually have so much resources that are endowed upon them that allows them to be able to basically roam the world and do whatever they want. And a hunter is like one of those like high tier jobs to be able to have, or titles to hold, and to be able to move forward. And then as far as the title hunter is being driven here, there is a further, I guess, a tier list of hunters. And we'll get to that once we get to the arcs where that actually matters and that counts. And we will get back to our story of Gon. Gon is once again a young boy who's actually just trying to find out what's going on with his life, as far as he grew up without a mom and a father, but he does know that his father is a hunter, and his father, who left ages ago due to whatever reason, which of course I know the reason because I just got done watching it, but that's besides the point. The reason why his father left was because of the importance behind being a hunter and everything that leads further down along the lines in the show. But Gon's Aunt Mito, she subs in as a pseudo mother to be able to raise Gon and get him prepared for whatever in life that Gon decides to do. And mainly her pressure on him is to refrain from Gon wanting to be a hunter, because she doesn't want to lose somebody else to the hunter life. And the cool part behind it is the life of a hunter. Yes, it may have so much prestigious outlines behind it of fame, fortune, and more, but it is still within the lines of being dangerous. There's a lot of things that are going on with that. Is extremely dangerous. And within the few first episodes, we do see that Gon is just he's very dim-witted, and he's determined. He has a lot of promise, a lot of like your typical things that would be within your typical anime protagonist, especially a young boy. He almost follows the same line as like Naruto, Goku, and Luffy. Like we have just so many of the same characteristics within our main protagonists from of course our Shonen Jump animes. And with that being said, Gon does proceed to leave to follow in his father's footsteps to take the hunter exam when he reached the age of 11. And when he left, he ends up going on top of well, I say on top. He goes and boards the ship to leave. And this is when we meet our first round of his friends or his companions that we'll be seeing on and off throughout the rest of the show or the arcs. But mainly in this arc, is our introductory arc, we end up meeting Kurapika and Leorio. And Kurapika is a Scarlet Red Eyes survivor from the Kurta clan that ends up getting massacred by a hidden group that is called the Phantom Troop. That they're like kind of like an outlaw, like bandits, like an outlaw bandit savagery, all this kind of stuff. Like they're pretty intense, and we find out more later. But for now, all we know is Kurapika has this revenge vendetta against them, and he's trying to become a hunter just so he can be able to grasp the information to be able to locate the Phantom Troop and to take action of revenge for his fallen brethren that were massacred by this group. And we also have Leorio, and Leorio is a very goofy. Apparently, I don't even have the information on Leorio's age, but obviously he looks older. But I think he's like maybe like 2 or 3 years older than Kurapika and Gon. And it's it's everywhere. It's everywhere on how all that goes. He's like not much older than them. He just looks older because like he has like he smokes cigarettes, and he has like kind of like little scruffy facial hair. It's funny. Leorio's like the comic relief out of like all of them. He like makes it like not so serious. So Leorio is also trying to become a hunter mainly for the money, and he has his reasons behind it. But Leorio also specializes in the medical field. He's able to perform healing and whatnot. So this is what we find out within this. They board on the ship. They have their exchanges. Kurapika and Leorio have their little bout because they're both hot headed. They don't have it set up to where they can where they can talk about things easily. So they have their deal going on. And then we notice Gon's charismatic, just upbeat feeling when they're able to save this one of the deckhands that go off board. They're able to save him, and you just see how much Gon is just such a humble being who definitely did the saving, but with the help of Leorio and Kurapika, he still didn't take all the credit for himself. So you just see there of Gon's attitude and how Gon is going to like move like his development later on in the story. And when they're doing this awesome hunter exam, but there's like a bunch of different things that like a bunch of different mechanisms that are put in place. Like one of the first tests, or like you could say the prerequisites, was them having to deal with the captain of the boat and them having to like stick together and like show pure intentions on becoming a hunter. And that is like very much so something we learn throughout this show, is that it's like the pureness of heart and the pureness of intentions goes a long way in it, and allows us to see the development and the progression of each character depending on where they stand, whether they're like a face or a heel or however it pans out. But once they make it past the boat and get off and get back on shore and to be able to proceed to take the hunter exam, they end up coming across the Kiriko, all kinds of different interesting twists and turns where they're met with evil. I say evil. They end up meeting a bunch of different obstacles. Like you have notably one of the hunters that are trying to that takes the exam every year. He's a noob sabotager, where he just sabotages all new people that start, and you just have all different types of people that you end up seeing for like maybe a few more arcs, and they just pop in and out. But you meet a lot of different people, and we also come into contact with Mr. Killua Zoldyck himself. And Killua is yet another 10-year-old who is that's around Gon's age. And we don't know much about Killua at the time, other than he's really cool. He has a little skateboard, and he's like very, very like, he's like the opposite of Gon. He's like a little rude. You know, he has like a little death glare here and there. But you kind of see that Killua has like an edge to him that's like just a little different. And then we also come into contact with Hisoka. And Hisoka is a very dangerous, we'll call him a jester, because he has like, he takes on like the form of like a clown or whatever. But Hisoka is very, very, very conniving, dangerous, and a force to be reckoned with. In the beginning, especially in the Hunter exam arc, we are led to believe that Hisoka is like the strongest in the show as of right now. And Hisoka definitely is. He has some interesting bloodlust about him, and a lot of different things that like just kind of point out that he's just like, you know, just it's just wild. And I want to say Hisoka is, if I'm being correct, this is the first time Hisoka, I want to say, took the Hunter exam himself. And there's a lot that we find out in the later portions, but Hisoka did during the Hunter exam arc, I believe Hisoka did kill a couple hunters that he came across during the part where they were crossing into the through like the foggy marshlands or the foggy swamplands, whatever you would like to call it. That is where we noticed that Hisoka was actually getting jumped and cornered. And yeah, he definitely just he took them out. And then in the Hunter exam arc, there's like a lot of different portions. So like not to just like jump around and just make it so like we don't understand what's going on. We do have the portions of the Hunter exam arc. Like the first was the boat. The next part of the Hunter exam was when they had to run with the one of the examiners for X amount of miles, and once they made it out of there, they had to do the third portion, which included them to go through the marshlands, and they had to do a cook off, which had them go find this egg that can only be found in one area, and there's plenty other things. And of course it ends off with then of course, let me not forget, we are introduced to Chairman Netero, which is the leader of the Hunter Association. and we meet him earlier on due to some strange things happening. As a matter of fact, it was because one of the examiners was going to fail the whole class, and that is when Chairman Netero came out to change a few things. And before the Netero situation, they did end up going to a tower where they had to start from the top, go all the way to the bottom, and make it out as a group to be able to make it to the final phase, which was the sparring where they had to like have a face off. And in this, which is what we learn a bunch of different things. And one thing that I did forget, we also are met with a strange individual, and that individual is Killua's older brother, Illumi. Illumi is disguised as a random participant to get his hunter's license. And we end up noticing Illumi basically, I'd hate to use that word, but like basically intimidating Killua to not be able to fight. And there's something later on that's like foreshadowed later, but there is a certain mechanism that Illumi puts onto Killua to cause Killua to be in such shock and be frightened the way everything panned out. So there's that. There's like really not much to say when that happens. But needless to say, during this process, only Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio gets their hunter's license, because after the Killua and Illumi incident where Killua backed down, Killua ends up coming back to kill the person Leorio was fighting. And that ended up being the end and disqualification of Killua, and he had to come back to take the hunter's exam later on down the line. And that right there is it's crazy. But right after Killua's disqualification, Gon was also knocked out during one of his fights, and that led to everything happening. Like it was like Gon gets knocked out in the fight. Killua has his bout with his brother, and then next thing you know, we are met with Killua getting disqualified for killing somebody, and Killua immediately goes home back to the Zoldyck residence, and Kurapika, Leorio, and Killua, and Gon actually go to the Zoldyck residence to be able to get Killua back. And they go through their own like testament of time to be able to get Killua back. And it's crazy how all this happens in one arc, but it's just so much that is very much so important, where you learn that Killua is a descendant of a band of assassins that are like very, very widely known across the Hunter Association and across the world in this show. And we understand that them going to go get Killua for returning home is almost like a dangerous thing themselves, like within itself. And we also find out that Killua is like a lone. He's like a lone wolf. So with that being said, the three are met with such, I guess you could say, like issues, because nobody believes that Killua is able to have friends because of the nature of being an assassin, and almost kind of like being like too cautious and having your guard up. It's a lot of stuff that is covered in this arc, and with that being said, it's worth watching. You learn so much, and once they finally get Killua from the confines of the Zoldyck residence and leave out, everybody goes their separate ways. Leorio leaves for medical school, and Kurapika leaves to go find work as a bounty hunter. Because remember, the former three did get their hunter's license, and Gon and Killua actually decide to go to Heaven's Arena to train and prepare for Gon's rematch with Hisoka. Because during this time frame, during one of the part of the hunter exam, they all had to get these badges from each other that totaled up into X amount of points. Well, Gon did get Hisoka's badge, but the problem with that exchange was Hisoka did find Gon and take Gon out, but refused to let Gon give back the badge, because Hisoka has this very, very interesting thing about him where he wants to watch his prey, who he thinks can get stronger. He wants to let them grow so he can take them out at full strength and be able to get a good fight out of it. I really enjoy Hisoka's standpoint on how things go. He's very, very demonic and antagonistic, but he serves so much as as an anti-hero. He's like not really bad, but he's not really good either. He's like stands in the middle where he almost makes decisions that makes him look like the good guy, but it's not for good reasons. Like, he has his own selfish reasons, which allows a lot of the course of the show to happen in favor of the good guys, of the protagonists, of Gon, Killua, and all them, because Hisoka makes different decisions that wouldn't really hurt Gon and Killua, is mainly to let them live to get stronger so he can have a match against them. And that is what leads to the end of the Hunter exam arc. We have Gon and Hisoka that are supposed to have this rematch later on down the line, and Heaven's Arena, which is also another part to where Gon wants to use his license to be able to benefit him, to be able to find his dad and to move further into his other decisions in life, which requires money. And Killua has had experience being in Heaven's Arena as a younger child and being able to take down almost up to floor 200. I want to say he stopped at between 150 to 180. We'll cover that portion of the floors in the next episode. But as far as we're concerned with the progression, we do have Gon and Killua trying to make money to be able to invest and be able to get further defined Gon's dad. But at the same time, Gon has a now new rival, which is Hisoka, the jester himself. So all in all, I would have to say this arc is like probably one of the best introductory arcs that I've seen, because it covers what you need to know, and it also gives you a wide range of characters to already kind of like wrap your mind around and be able to put it into perspective. And none of our current people that are in the show so far during the first arc, there's not much that happened, which is great. It makes it to where we can move further and not be so trapped up within like somebody getting like insanely buffed or having to like make it through plot armor. This first arc is amazing and covers everything we need. So without further ado, let's move on to the next part. So to finish off, I'd have to say this arc is amazing. Is by far a really good, like I covered just a minute ago, and it's a really good introductory arc. Is worth watching. Is it worth watching in 2024? Yes, indeed. Are the graphics or the animation, is the animation like worth watching? Yes, sometimes it can get a little bit on the you'll if you're watching this in 2024, you will be taken down by the fact that, you know, we have the likes of Demon Slayer, we have the likes of Fire Force, Chainsaw Man. We have the likes of so many other animes that that aesthetically look better, But as far as a whole, this show is a definitely good start for anybody who's into. I'm not even going to say older school anime. This anime had its run in first beginning in 1999, and then again coming back alive in 2011. It is worth watching. I do recommend checking it out when you get a chance. And it's just amazing. You just don't want to miss out on such a beautifully crafted anime that has really good fight scenes. The fight scenes are amazing, and the transitions between everything panning out. You really never notice that there's like there are some filler episodes, but you don't notice it because your filler episodes actually tie in the in betweens and still carry on to explain what's going on in the arc or within that season. You're never really just left astray to where you just like, I don't know what I'm watching anymore. It is most definitely still pertaining to the show and pertaining to the canon line of how things are going on. So definitely give it a go. Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio are definitely waiting for y'all for a great adventure. And this is just the beginning. I can't wait to be able to drop the next few arcs and be able to enjoy this moment with y'all, because I enjoyed watching all. If I can't remember right now. It's like 148 to 150 episodes. It is amazing. Every last episode I was really excited for. I was ready to pick up my remote and hit skip to get to the next episode without having to watch like the end credits and the beginning credits. And it's awesome. It's great. Just give it a chance, watch it. And until next time, thank y'all so much for listening. This is Anime Talks, and this is your host Jordan. And get ready because we have Heaven's Arena arc for the next episode. See y'all later.